Earlier this year, we talked about the rate of change that occurred, and we referred to it as being the slope of a line. And we're going to kind of extend that today with what we're going to be looking at with slopes of a line. Now, here are the 4 basic slopes. This is a positive slope. This is a negative slope. We've talked about those before. Going horizontally is what we consider no slope, or sometimes you will see that a slope of 0. Okay, you can give it a value of 0. It's like walking across the flat ground around Shelbina. There's no slope. But this is like a sheer wall. And I want you to envision Mrs. Roberts trying to climb that with no assistance, and she can't do it. So we call this one undefined. Undefined slope. Can't happen. Not possible. So on the pink sheet I gave you right now, I want you to draw the examples. The first one is no slope, which is a horizontal line. And make sure you put little arrows on the end of it. A positive slope, in your little grid, just put positive. Make it look like this. Negative, and then undefined. So let's go back in your handy dandy and let's define what slope is. The slope of a line is the number of units that a line rises or falls for each unit that it goes over horizontally. In other words, to the right or to the left. Now let's get something straight. Up is a positive move. Down is a negative. To the right is positive. To the left is negative. So if we were finding the slope of this line, we would pick any 2 points. Just pick any 2 points. And we'd find the rise over the run. Rise is how many units? 3. Run is 2. So we would say our slope then is 3 over 2. Now I don't change that to 1.5. Okay, we're going to kind of just get in the habit right now of leaving it as 3/2. Now no matter what my 2 points are, here's another point on the grid axis or grid mark, and here's another one. I could say I still went up 3 over 2. A rise of 3, a run of 2. That's your slope. Now we're going to be looking at today is, suppose I don't always have a picture. Suppose they give me the 2 ordered pairs. How do I find it then? We find it from our ordered pairs. Let me write them down. We have 3, 4, and we have 5, 7. Those are our ordered pairs. Which is the x-coordinate in this ordered pair? The 3. We'd say the first is the x, the second one is your y. To find the slope or the rate of change, we do the change in y over change in x. And we'll write this down in just a moment. Let's take a look and see what happens mathematically. What do I mean by the change in the y's? Well, it went from a 4 to a 7. So let's do that. 7 minus 4. And then we'll do the change in the x. Now I started with my 7, so I better start with my 5. 5 minus 3. And what do you get? 3/2 or 3 over 2. Same thing as if you had to count it if you were given the grid. Okay, let's take a look at a couple of lines here. Now let's find their slope. Say this is line A and this is line B. Let's look at line A. We need to find 2 points on the grid axis. You see it's not hitting it always. So let's find one. Let's say it's hitting this one and this one. Okay, is that going to hit them? Okay. All right, so what can I do to find my slope? There's 2 ways. What's one way? Rise or run. Okay, so let's go from this point to that point. How did I rise? 1. What was my run? 1 over 4. So I know my slope is 1/4. or 1 over 4. Now, in algebra, they give slope a letter value. In other words, you will find it in formulas, and it's often called m. It doesn't stand for measure, it stands for slope. So if you see m equals something, it might be referring to the slope. Same thing. Now, I could have done the change in y or change in x, but usually if they give you the grid, it's easier to do the counting method. Okay? Do you want to do the change in y given the 2 points? Let's try it. What's this ordered pair? -6, 0. And what's this one? -2, 1. Okay, so let's find the change in y. Which ones are my y's? 0 and 1. So let's do 1 minus 0. And your change in x's? I started with a 1, so I have to start with a -2 minus -6. I mark. Very good. I get 1 over 4. Same thing. Okay, let's see if you can find the slope on this one. Okay, what'd you find out for the slope? Did anybody do the rise over the run? What is the rise over the run? Okay, 4. The rise is 4. 4 over 1. The slope of line B, or M, is 4 over 1. Now, we can go ahead and simplify that to your slope is just a plain old 4. But know that it means the same thing as 4 over 1. So if they ask you what the rise over the run would be, even if they give you 4, it is 4 over 1. Any questions? All right, let's find the ordered pairs. What's this ordered pair? 0, 4. And this one? 1, 8. Okay, let's find the change in y, which is your y's. 8 minus 4, 1 minus 0. And I get 4 over 1, which is 4. Now you notice both of these have what kind of a slope? Okay, both of them have a positive slope. You notice they are positive numbers. Okay, to summarize then what we've done, slope, or m, is the rise over run, or the change in y over change in x. Now all they've done here is they've just labeled one as the y2 minus y1. In other words, they're consistently using the second y coordinate minus the first one, the second x coordinate minus the second one. They do that because if it's a positive slope, you're going to end up with a rise. Okay, let's try one. Find the slope of the line passing through -2, 2, and 3, 4. Do I have to plot it? No. You know the shortcut now. Let's write it down. Okay, remember your x and your y. Change in y, 4 minus 2, over change in x. Because I started with the 4, I will start with the 3. 3 minus a -2. 4 minus 2 is 2. 3 minus a -2, mark, and you get 2/5. Your slope is 2/5. Now let's plot it and see if we get that. You've got a -2, 2, and a 3, 4. Okay, that's pretty close. Let's put our arrows because they go on, and I go up 2 over 5. So that is my slope. My change in the rise over the run, or I can do the change in y over change in x. Okay, that's all we're working on today is finding the slope of a line, or if you're given 2 points. All right, let's try this one. Change in y over change in x. Which ones are my y's? All right, so we're going to 2 minus 2 over the change in x. If I start here, I'm going to go 2 minus 2, then I have to have 3 minus a -1. I get 0 over 4. What is 0 over 4? 0. Now, what did you know? Look back at your notes. What about the slope of a line that has a slope of 0? It's a horizontal line. Remember, that's important. It is a horizontal line. A line with 0 slope is horizontal. Okay, let's try this one. Find the slope of this one. Change in y over change in, which one's your x? 3 minus 0. What's negative 3 minus 0? Negative 3. What's 3 minus 0? I can simplify that to negative 1 over 1 or just negative 1. So what kind of a slope would that look like? It would be going down. You do need to simplify, yes. Okay, let's try this one. Change in y. It really doesn't matter which one you start with. I'll still start with my 1. 1 minus 4, and then this is 2 minus 2. What's 1 minus 4? 2 minus 2? 0. Can I have this? Can 0 ever be on the bottom? Never. It cannot happen. Therefore, this is undefined. The slope is undefined. It's not no slope. It is undefined. And it's straight up and down. It is a vertical line. And I can't climb that, remember? Shear wall, Mrs. Roberts can't climb that. Okay, in summary, here are your 4 slopes. A positive slope rises from left to right. A negative falls from left to right. Horizontal is a slope of 0. This one is undefined. The slope is undefined. Now what they're saying here, these are positives. These are negatives. The slopes are negatives. Any questions on slope?